Why is it that every time we have a show on a Monday,
What?
someone dies the day after?
What are you talking about?
Every time?
I feel like every time we do, I feel like there would always be something that, not that I'm asking people to die sooner, but
Well, thank you for that. It would be much more convenient for our listening
but
audience.
for the sake of sakes, for us to be able to, get a Dilem-Monday episode going, if people could please die on Sundays and not Tuesdays.
I didn't ask for Ozzy Osbourne to die on my birthday, but he did it anyway.
Not just
What a lighthearted start to the
birthday.
show.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Sorry.
Jeez.
No, but with all of that joy and happiness on the brain at the moment, all aboard. Ha 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 ha. We're fucking here. I mean, we're here. So welcome to another week of Dilem-Monday. Sad news throughout the world this week. A few times over, we came from our episode last week where we got to at least briefly mention the passing of Malcom Jamal Warner on the air, because that had happened a few hours prior. But anyone who even mildly loves music found out today that last week that one of the greatest frontmen to ever lived, one of the greatest personalities, one of the great reality television stars of our and all time, Ozzy Osbourne, John Osbourne, a small town kid from Aston, Birmingham, passed away at the age of 76 after years of debauchery, fun, complications, heartache, tragedy, but also triumph and light that came from being the Prince of Darkness. And
Keith Richards is still around. Just remember that.
No.
Okay, and we're not, and hopefully we don't have to talk about Keith Richards for a long time. Thanks for cursing Keith Richards.
Craig did not do that. The universe did, and they did it a long time ago. He's defying the odds, and maybe he'll die on a Sunday.
Sorry, I saw something recently. It was like the year 3000, and it showed a mountain that had been crumbled like a nuclear holocaust, and it was roaches all around it, and Keith Richards playing his acoustic guitar. It was hysterical. I gotta find out and post it.
It's only the apocalypse, but I like it.
The crazy thing is, look, Ozzy, he got to have a celebration beforehand. Like, he got to celebrate his life. How cool is that?
He got to have a living wake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody that's ever had a deal like he got. I mean, that's, if you got to go, that's pretty spectacular, right? Everybody paid
Absolutely.
homage to him. I don't.
Yeah, I think he knew he was. He didn't have much time, and what I love about the thing, what they did was, he made sure that it wasn't going to be about money. It was going to be about the fans and to raise as much money. In fact, I understand from behind closed doors, Sharon Osbourne, as great as she is as a manager, it's a lot of times it's finances. And he said, no way. If we're doing this, and they raised something like $190 million between Parkinson's research as well as a children's hospital that's in Birmingham, which I think is incredible. And again, like you said, got to celebrate with all his friends and just, I don't know, 45,000. I don't know, remember the amount of people that was there. It was amazing. In fact, Sammy Hagar said, what a way to go. He said, to have this one last party before you pass on. He said, I can't think of a more metal exit to and it really is incredible. And they did that, and he was able to perform, even though he performed for a short time, as sick as he was, that he was able to do that I think is quite incredible.
No,
absolutely. By the way, with us tonight, Andrew Sula, welcome back to Dilem-Monday. You were on the original series, but this is your first time on the revival. Welcome back. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And as of right now, I didn't mean to cut you off too, but as of right now, I know it is currently the top as far as a charity concert goes, no singular concert has ever brought in more money. Like, it was somewhere, yeah, like what it was, $190 million.
190 million, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Insane.
I didn't know it was a record. So it is the single most. That's awesome. That's a great
That's
thing.
even more than like Live Aid and the big ones.
Well, it's probably inflation here. I mean,
also inflation and probably also the remember Live Aid was two concerts in two locations. So I think it's by some technicality it's a singular concert.
Not 190 million, and I'm sure it's going to continue to even raise from now from I watching the live streams and everything else and the stuff. But like I said, as someone who had a parent who died in their late 70s from Parkinson's, that he was able to go on and do what he did. I know it wasn't his longest show ever, and I know it wasn't his greatest performance ever. But for those of us who have dealt with people with Parkinson's at that late stage of Parkinson's, man, he made a deal with the devil that day.
And he did it without taking his pain meds.
Well, that's something. But like I said, the one thing I do know from dealing with the Parkinson's disease, my grandfather had it, my mother had it. There are moments,
my dad too.
I watched her sometimes where she was able to hold it together. If she knew she had to do one specific thing that day, she could concentrate it through somehow and make the brain spark for that little while, and I guess by what Ozzy did by not taking the painkiller that day and maybe being as lucid as he could possibly be, he concentrated on what he absolutely needed to do. But yeah, it's a pretty serious thing when you're at that stage, and God bless the man. He went out in style. I mean,
yeah, agreed. I think also Ozzy, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't talk much about it, but I believe he had suffered from a bunch of other things. I mean, he had wrongly diagnosed for MS, which was wrong, luckily for him. But he also had a lot of rheumatoid arthritis, which got him really bad. He also had a million accidents, RV accidents, car accidents. He had issues with muscle disorders, spines. He had surgery after surgery. So he was essentially, he was a young soul, but physically, it's amazing that he made it this long. I mean, I hate to say it like that. I wish he would have been here, for decades more. But in fact, there was a special that I saw about a year ago, and I think it was called "The 9 Lives of Ozzy." And it was
phenomenally done.
Right, you saw that, right? How many times he came close to death? It was incredible. So when you think of all that, it's incredible that he accomplished and did all this at this, like you said, after all these things and late stage Parkinson's. It's incredible. It's incredible. His legacy.
I think he had Parkinson's a long time, because some of those rheumatoid arthritis and stuff, it's the same symptoms as Parkinson's, which is, the problem with Parkinson's is, if again, for people that have had loved ones or do have loved ones with it, it's Parkinson-like syndrome, because no one has it exactly the same way as anybody else. You do end the same way, but generally you don't end from Parkinson's itself, but Parkinson's has made you so weak that you have a heart attack, it just stops, or something else stops working. But again, watching him, it really was heroic what he did. And again, if I got to go out, what a way to go out. I mean, that's just and I guess I don't want to really break the show up in two, but the other guy that we lost was Hulk Hogan this week, and Hulk didn't get to go out like that.
In fact, some would argue probably he went out the heel.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to, for the sake of keeping the cowbell as far away from me tonight as I can.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do. He's got his thing with the daughter and whatever. But Hulk Hogan was
a complicated figure.
Yeah, but look, if you're a wrestling fan, and again, I'm a little older than a Hulk Hogan fan particularly would be. I'm a little bit. I was a Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund. He came on kind of a little bit later when I was already not really watching wrestling so much, but I still thought it was cool. And as goofy as wrestling is, it was fun. And this guy could get you going, man. He'd start talking about eating the right foods and doing the right stuff. And it was
train, eat your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yeah,
I was 12 when Hulkamania. I was 12 when Hulkamania came out, and like I said on my post and all like that, we were running around, we were tearing t-shirts off, we were beating each other up in our living rooms. We broke so much furniture in our parents' house that oh my goodness, it was such fun, and a lot of people don't realize, again, if you're way younger, Hulkamania was huge. It was this thing where essentially, like how I said, where Ozzy celebrated not just with metal, but because of the show, he became this big mainstream entity. So was Hogan in a sense for a short time. He was doing action movies. He was on commercials. He became the spokesperson for health, which he was a steroid guy. But it's funny because he was, kids don't do this, don't do that. And as a little kid, we were in awe of Hulk Hogan and all those guys that were around at the same time. Macho Man, even though he was a bad guy, and the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, that was an amazing time to be a wrestling fan. It was truly incredible. I think the best, I could be biased, but maybe the best period in American wrestling was that era. Again, it's arguably, people might say differently,
Dave, were you ever into the wrestling world?
Not directly. Like, I had friends that were, so sometimes I'd watch. So I certainly knew who Hulk Hogan was, but I wasn't the fan you all are. But even like now, I'll sometimes catch like Wrestlemania or some of the pay-per-views. I don't still follow the canon, but definitely an icon.
How about James? What ESPN world of yourself?
Now we can, I guess, talk about that in the air.
The sportscasting world.
I was never a gigantic fan of wrestling, honestly. I mean, Hulk was cool during the times I saw it. I only remember him as one of the guys in Rocky 3, but I thought he was cool.
True.
Now here's something funny. I watched, I guess Andre the Giant at his tallest point was about 7'4", they say. But by the time he passed away, he was really under 7 feet. Hulk Hogan, I think at his tallest point, they used to say he was 6'10", 6'11". He wasn't. He was about 6'7". When he passed, he was just under 6'4". And it's interesting the how when you get older, your height.
They say you lose an inch, but I think it's more like for those guys as big as they are, 2 or 3 inches. And the funny thing what you mentioned is they never quite bill you honestly. I remember Hogan 6'8", he was 6'6". They're always a little bit shorter than they are. They always kind of like basketball was very accurate. Shaquille O'Neal 7 feet, he's 7 feet. But like when Macho Man Randy Savage, they said he was 6'5". He was like 6'2", a huge guy. But they always sort of they give you a couple of extra inches. That's how it works with with American wrestling,
Yeah, it's sad though when you.
I mean, have you ever seen someone's height on a dating app?
No.
That's.
I was gonna say every guy would always like to say they had a few more inches than they do.
What do you list yourself at, Corey?
Accurately 6'1".
Okay. 6 foot 6'1". Yeah, no, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Because I know I genuinely have about
an inch of, depending on if you saw the chiropractor that week.
Exactly. I have a shitty back, which I guess means really shitty cartilage. But
I'm on 6 feet tall too. I'm like literally right there.
Well, I used to be. The doctor told me he was very graciously giving me 5'9", and I was a solid 5'11" for many years. So you hit that 60 point, it kind of comes in at you.
5'6", baby, and I'm holding on to it. I'm not losing any inches, not yet.
Well, that's why I won't go back to the doctor. I don't want to find out he's going to tell me I'm 5'8" or some shit. I don't want that.
Yeah. 5'5.5". Well, fuck you. I'm 5'6". Sorry for the.
For our very accurate and on time censor.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
You mentioned those wrestlers, Ultimate Warrior, Randy, Macho Man Savage.
Oh yeah,
they're all gone.
They passed away young.
Unfortunately, does it shock you, brother, when you beat the shit out of each other? Oh, brother,
that might be a little bit of it.
And the steroids, unfortunately, is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. I was big into bodybuilding. I never got into steroids, thankfully, but I've seen a lot of people that are not famous like that are on dialysis machines, that are a little bit older than me, that were huge guys, and they have so many problems with their organs. Some of them we've lost already as well. And it's I think it has a lot to do with that, rather than the beating of crap is not easy. They fight very hard, but the steroid abuse is insane. In that maybe it's gotten better because everything's regulated now. But at that time, it was at that era, they were all doing it. And Hogan's admitted to it many times. He walked around with what do they say, like a jug of water, like a gallon of water filled with juice. And they would just inject each other in the buttocks, before and after, to get psyched up before they went out there. And that's got to take a toll on the human body,
Did everybody see the movie The Wrestler?
Yeah.
Yes. Mickey Rourke.
Rourke. And,
what a nut job.
Yeah, but
yes.
I think that movie was very accurate.
It seemed like it.
And I thought he did a great job, and he was roided pretty good on that.
Major roid, absolutely. He went on I don't know if you guys remember when he you wouldn't remember, Craig, and I'm sure Dave as well. When he was young, he was like a pretty boy. He was this kind of almost like a Brad Pitt, not as famous, but he would get all these romantic roles, and he had a really bad motorcycle accident. He scarred his face, and he decided to go a different route, and he put on like 70 pounds of muscle. We all basically knew that he was whatever he was doing.
Boxing too, right? He professionally boxed for a while. He kind of But his big role was with what the hell is her name? Alec Baldwin's first wife.
9.5 weeks. Kim.
9.5 weeks. Now, those of
I watched that a few times in slow motion.
I've watched that a few times as a younger man myself. That was a hell of a movie.
Oh yeah.
But he was, like you said, he was the young stud in that movie, and that's where you got to start. And if you see a picture of him there, and then you see a picture of him in the movie The Wrestler, there is no way that's the same guy.
But, by the way, I have permission to show this photo from Halloween. I've been given permission, and I am the lone survivor in it.
Nice.
So yes,
nice.
yes. My friends Keith and Chach and her dad John, we decided this year for their Halloween party we were all gonna go classic WWE. I went with the Nature Boy because why would I not go with the Nature Boy?
That's a great photo. Woo! That's a great photo.
And I'm sure you guys have seen the movie the Von Erichs.
Oh God! Oh my God!
God!
I don't think I've seen that. Well, what is that? I'm sorry.
Well, I'll let James jump in on this one.
First of all, I watched that movie not knowing anything about the Von Erichs.
Oh really?
Oh no!
So I was completely shocked, saddened by everything that happened in that movie.
You got nightmares for like a week after that?
Honestly, literally the night after I watched the movie and I saw it in theaters with Donnie, I'm like, I just could not believe everything that I was watching.
Yeah, no, it's and they probably toned it down.
They did. They left out a brother. I think.
Yeah,
the youngest brother.
Was it Chris? Was that the one that got left out?
Yeah, it was I know it was the youngest brother.
I was a big wrestling fan, like, which is weird, because I was into pro sports and everything like that, and but I would watch Channel 9, WOR TV with my dad every Saturday afternoon. It would be you'd have roller derby. I remember that. Really ages myself, right? I'd watch the roller derby, then I'd watch wrestling would come on. Vince McMahon was him and Bruno Sammartino, and they would do the speaking. Bruno was still wrestling, but not quite, what he once was. And then the Bowery Boys would come on, so I'd watch Satch and Muggsy, but that was the deal. But I used to get those magazines that would show the AWA and the NWA, and so I followed some of those other wrestling leagues too, so I knew about the Von Erichs, even though they never were in New York anything. And the guys that played the roles in that, what's his name, Corey, the bear?
Jeremy Allen White.
Yep.
I mean, he did a great job. I mean, he's like 5 inches shorter for real than the real Von Erich.
And that's why we've moved past the 1920s and we now have sound in our movies, so we can have dialogue.
But he made it work. But what an awful, horrible, thing. And you look at a guy.
What a great, horrible movie.
No, I've seen it probably 15 times because every time I was flying on a plane, it would be on. So I would just.
Oh my God! When he buys him the gun and he's like so like. He was like so like he was so excited to give his dad like this like beautiful gift, and it was like this beautiful, beautiful weapon. Like, it was one of those like real like, oh God, and he just doesn't care. It's just like the whole thing was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and he'd sell his one son out for the other. Well, it's not your turn, but we're gonna get it. It was just sad, but. Professional wrestling is a tough game, man. And those guys didn't make the money. And I still don't think they make the money that others do. I mean, for all the work.
You know what? They don't get the respect from both industries they're in. They never want to fully admit to being performers. So they'll never get the respect from the performance end of it. And they'll never get the respect from the athletes because, again, in their heads, oh, this is play fighting. But trust me, it takes a lot to come up with a match, and it's almost just as hard to not hurt someone as it is to hurt someone.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Wasn't John Cena always known for being the one guy you always wanted to go up against because he knew
because evidently when John Cena picks you up, he never lets you get hurt. He drops
how to drop you, how to fall correctly.
And
they go to school. They actually go. They have to go to the school that's sort of like a cross between acting and how to not get hurt and whatnot. And I always say the same thing also. I'm okay with people saying that they're not real athletes, but their athletic ability is incredible. I remember seeing, it might have been something with Macho Man, and he would do 2 hours of cardio just to keep up with stuff like that. And even guys like King Kong Bundy that was just tremendously huge that they would have to do like an hour and a half of cardio, which is 2 hours. It's insane just because otherwise they just couldn't keep up. And by the way, the funny thing, Hogan had said one time that he said that the strongest man in wrestling was King Kong Bundy. He said he hated going against him because every time he would just open hand slap him in the chest, and Hogan's a huge guy, he said his ribs would be killing him for weeks. He says he didn't know how strong he was. Even though it's a play fight, he would be bruised for like a week and a half every time King Kong Bundy slapped him in the chest. Days upon days.
Well, I mean, and the legend of Andre, if Andre didn't like you, he would hurt you. He hated Randy Macho Man Savage and John Studd, and he would beat them and hurt them. But here's a number that I think you're gonna guys find shocking. Corey, if I told you already, what do you think Hulk Hogan's estate is worth? And I'm gonna tell you that it's surprising, and not in a good way.
I was about to say, like, you would think with a question like that you're thinking, like, is that, did he have the whole kiss thing going on? But
just go around the group. Give me a number.
Where we at?
Give me a number. Somebody give me a number. What do you think?
12 million.
50 million, I would say.
All right.
50, guess? 50 million.
12.
92.
Dave?
Oh, jeez. Well, based on Craig's hint, I'm wondering if it's even less. Like, I think there were some financial hardships that I'd heard about that family. So 6 million? I don't know.
So it's actually 25 million.
Oh.
25 million. But
Price is right.
I would have thought like 150, 200 million dollars. This guy was a spokesman. He was in all these movies. He had everything. I mean, to think that and again, please, no one think that I think that 25 million is a small amount of money by any means. But compared to what this guy, his notoriety, his fame, who else was surprising when she passed away? Whitney Houston only had about a $20 million.
Well, she used to both. I mean, besides just the chemical intake, she used to give away so much of her. Whenever anyone needed help, she was notorious for like just giving money here, giving money there. Don't tell anyone I did this. Don't tell anyone I did. You know the comedian Bert Kreischer, the machine, Kreischer, yeah, the machine. His when he was just getting big, one of his daughters had, and he's told this story a few times. His daughter fell and knocked like most of her front teeth out. Needed major surgery, like broke her jaw. Needed to like wire her jaw shut. They don't really have the money at this point, but they're rushing to the emergency room, figuring this whole situation out. And he was like, there was this lovely African American lady who was sitting in the room just trying to call, saying you're going to be fine, giving the look at one parent to another. You're going to get through this. You're going to make it through this. This is your first time doing something like this, but it's going to happen again. And we're going to make sure we're through it. So they get through the surgery. The daughter makes it through the surgery, which is dangerous. A little kid with anesthetic for something that aggressive. Whitney Houston not only was the one that paid for it, but she was the lady that was in the room. She paid for it. She came back. She spoke.
Why was she there?
Probably had her own thing going on. And that's what the other thing. This is someone who clearly, she's in an emergency room. She's at a doctor's appointment, like an office, like clearly has something going wrong on her own end, but had enough to know that there was someone else that was freaking out, that she was able to go and like kind of bring peace and calm to this individual.
Well, I think the other point that I was going to bring out, we talked about that movie, The Wrestler. So here we have Hulk Hogan. Probably he's got to be the most famous wrestler of all time. I know we all know Ric Flair too now, but yeah, but Ric Flair never had the fame, and he would tell you he was never as famous as Hulk Hogan.
Know what he has though? His life.
This is true, but Rick's had some health issues also.
He just beat his cancer.
I know. I'm saying he's had health issues, but my point being here, this guy is
I survived cancer. I outlived the Hulkster. Woo! You're not pretty, bitch. You're not pretty.
They were good friends, and they whatever. But my point being is, if the pinnacle in one of the most visible theater sports is 25 million, think about the middle of the road guy. And remember, these guys, especially in the days with Andre and Hulk, those guys would travel they would fight 7 to 10 times a week. You know, they would do 2 or 3 in a day sometimes on the weekend, and they'd be flying to Japan all the time. And they would have one character. Sometimes they had multiple characters going on too. The good guy in America, bad guy in Japan. It's a pretty interesting deal. I mean, the millionaires, but I don't know if the rest of the anybody else got treated all that well in this whole situation.
Well, I feel like there's other factors because, you know, there's a lot of celebrities who make about as much over their life as, you know, someone as prominent as Hulk Hogan. But other factors include like do they have a financial manager? Some of these people spend money as fast as they can make it. Some celebrities have a good manager says, okay, spend this, but let's save this, let's invest. That's a factor. If you have some unexpected tragedy, like the kind of thing Corey's talking about, some major medical thing that can drain your accounts as well. So I agree with you, Craig's a little surprising, but he also may have had a bigger estate earlier in life, or maybe he had multiple ones and sold them, and that's what was left.
He had a pretty prominent divorce, a gigantic divorce, so she might have had half the money too. So that could be part of it. I was just, when I heard that number, I was just a little taken back. I was like, really? That's it? And I'm sure, like The Rock, you know, I'm sure he has a lot more money.
All of those guys, I feel like all those guys had to have learned, like, from what happened in the past with, you know, and you know what? To a degree, actually, with the dichotomy of this, and when talking about the dichotomy of a public figure, I think it kind of goes with both people we're discussing tonight a little bit. This this you know, duality, you know, Ozzy. But what was the difference between Hulk and Ozzy? Sharon Arden.
Sharon's dad.
Sharon's dad. Let's not make him out to be a hero, because Don Arden was a horrible, no good, filthy son of a bitch. Sharon didn't speak to him for 25 years until he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And then you know, when you have tragedies like this that come up,
why don't you tell, before you make this giant comment, why didn't you explain who
Don Arden was? One of the scariest record producers who ever lived. He was a manager's manager's manager. He was a big, tough Jew, and you did not mess with him. He was managing Sabbath. He was managing a bunch of other bands. You didn't mess with this guy. Being on the wrong side of him was not the place you wanted to be if you wanted to have a career and possibly unbroken bones.
So we're saying that Ozzy made a very good decision dating his daughter? Or was it
simultaneously yes and no, because his daughter was, you know, his daughter, and also told her father to go F off. He also called Sharon some atrocious things that even my bleeper button won't do. So I'm just going to completely.
Well, let's skip over the father-in-law then.
But Sharon, no, because Sharon is the person at hand here. Sharon Osbourne saved that man. Sharon, before ever thinking of him romantically, saw this was a charismatic frontman working with her father. The rest of his band at that moment really weren't being very nice to Ozzy. They were trying to put Ozzy to the side, physically even to the side of the stage. Tony was the center point at that point with Sabbath. And it wasn't fair. You know, all four of them were severely addicted to cocaine. All four of them were in the heights of their chemical abuses, yet they had the nerve to say that Ozzy was, any worse off than them just because he only came up with the melodies.
Got thrown out of Guns N' Roses for doing too much coke. So
yeah, but you know what? It wasn't. Axl Rose didn't get thrown out of Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, well, he was a star.
Because they can spare Steven Adler. They can't spare Axl Rose. That's what it comes down to as well, unfortunately, you know.
And I'm ready to make the hot take. I'm going to say it on the air.
Don't.
Fuck Dio. He was great. Great singer on his own right. His solo career, whatever. Rainbow, really sick. But why would I ever want to listen to a Dio Sabbath album?
Because they were good.
Don't get me started. Listen, I'm going to say this nicely, but Heaven and Hell is one of the finest heavy metal records of all time. Don't get me wrong. Black Sabbath with Ozzy is classic. It is the original. And Sabbath at that time in 1970, they came from a blues era. So they're more, to me, they're as much classic rock as they are metal. But Sabbath with Dio was the next generation of how do I put it? They went from like the bluesy pentatonic stuff to what was modern day heavy metal. And that era of Sabbath influenced a lot of bands like Kiss and Wasp and Motley Crue, because it was a different chapter in heavy metal. And Ronnie James Dio, to me, was a fantastic singer. I'm talking about a career, 50 years. I mean, he went from doo-wop to classic rock to the harder rock, Rainbow era, stuff like that. Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, to his solo stuff and whatnot. He was an incredible, talented guy and a hell of a nice guy. I had a pleasure of meeting him. He was a sweetheart of a man. Yeah, absolutely. Sweetheart of a guy. Sweetheart of a guy.
And again, I'm not trying to diss on Ronnie James Dio, because I'll say the same thing. Listen, I think Sammy Hagar is one of the most gifted singers that ever lived. But if I'm putting my needle down on a Van Halen record, I'm going with Diamond Dave.
Yeah, it's almost like two different bands. I feel like the Roth era and the Hagar era is so dramatically different. And I also say that it wasn't the singer; it was the time where Eddie Van Halen was in his head, in his life, where he just didn't want to be this great guitar player. He wanted to be known as an all-around musician, piano, keyboard player, songwriter. And it was really him that changed it up, not really the Roth, Sammy Hagar. Yes, the band would have been different anyway, because Roth had that dynamics that Hagar doesn't have. Hagar has the vocal ability. But I think it was Eddie Van Halen that really changed it, because 1984, the last album with David Lee Roth, was a very commercially sounding record. And it made it easy for Hagar when Hagar took over to kind of go where they were going with that record. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, look at a group like Genesis. The Peter Gabriel Genesis versus the Phil Collins Genesis, right? It's not
very
the same.
different.
No. Well, and that actually, you know what? That's one of the few times where I actually like both eras of a band just as much as the other. I think there wasn't enough in common between Peter Gabriel's prog rock and theater, and then the absolute just pop master that was Phil Collins.
Yeah, but how about the irony of Peter Gabriel, though? When he puts out a solo album, he's sounding more like Phil Collins than himself.
That was what made those early Genesis that's what made those early Genesis harmonies so fantastic. Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel's voices were always so similar. You couldn't tell who was singing what part. There's
at some point, yeah.
What was the one song? Play me my song, here it comes again. It's this duet part between the two of them, and you can't tell who's singing. By the way, the other thing, one of the other great contributions to heavy metal, I think that Eddie Van Halen made. I'm pretty convinced that the Van Halen brothers are the Menendez brothers of rock and roll, and I wouldn't be shocked if they had. I would not be shocked if they had. I would not be shocked if they had a part in the plane crash that killed Randy Rhoads out of sheer jealousy.
When did Alex Jones join this podcast?
Yeah. By the way,
Van Halen's are the Menendez brothers of rock and roll.
All right,
I'm convinced.
Oh my god!
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, by the way.
Since I was away, so I keep looking at the time, and there's a 3-hour difference. It was never reset back to East Coast time, so it's showing up as 5:44 instead of 8:44. It's so annoying. And when we're in Alaska, there's parts of Alaska that are a 4-hour difference.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the trip were 4 hours, and another part were 3 hours, and it has me still a little bit off on time and everything. What's going on? But the other guy, just to mention, Chuck Mangione.
Oh man.
Also,
Yeah.
And I actually did get to see Chuck Mangione play. And I got to meet Chuck Mangione at the No Nukes concert. I mentioned before, my mother was very close and best friends with Donnie Gronick's mom. And
Don Grolnick was one of the absolute best, not just session player, but live players too. On top of his jazz and classical career, my God.
Yeah, I mean, he did Carnegie Hall by himself. So he was, but he was the keyboard player at the No Nukes concert, and always.
He was a house band.
Yeah, he had Nicolette Larson there, Linda Ronstadt, James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Chuck Mangione, pretty much everybody there. Donnie Grolnick was their keyboard player for.
The only people he wasn't playing keyboard for that night, if I'm not mistaken, was Bruce Springsteen has this guy named Roy Bittan who does a pretty good job himself, and then the Wailers and the I3.
Yeah. So, but everybody else he was playing for, and his flugelhorn, it's like a trumpet French horn type of thing, and that guy had tremendous control, and he made a genre for himself, and he had a bunch of hits.
It was kind of smooth. It was kind of smooth jazz, but it wasn't. But it was. You could equally put up one of his records next to a Chick Corea record, but also it would fit just as easily next to like a James Taylor record. Like,
and he opened the door for guys like Kenny G.
No, there's no Kenny G without Chuck Mangione.
But still an instrumental, pop hit. Essentially, it was they were playing pop music instrumentally. It was.
And let's not forget one of Arlen, Texas's greatest residents. He was. So clearly, Dad, you've never seen King of the Hill. That's okay.
No, I never watched King of the Hill. I will admit that.
Chuck Mangione was a reoccurring character on King of the Hill.
Really? Why?
I didn't know that.
Chuck Mangione randomly appears throughout King of the Hill.
Nice.
In fact, on the poster for tonight's broadcast, I actually made sure I did not put an actual image of Chuck Mangione. There is his depiction and his portrayal on freaking King of the Hill. Let's see if I can get this up here. By the way, I gotta say, I take great joy. I know my posters are not always the greatest, things visually. I'm not a graphics designer, but I love making these. In the last bunch of weeks, I've decided to go with like album covers as my inspiration for these. Let's see if
Is it going up, or are you just having?
Yes, if you give me a second, I'm trying to stall while I try to find the file. Thank you.
Please enjoy the music while your party is reached.
Fight.
But
yeah, once I get it up, I was very proud of this one. I was able to get it as it was a little bit of Blizzard of Oz, a little bit of a Diary of a Madman, while also being a little Hulk Hogan, and apparently it didn't download the way I wanted it to. God damn.
Well,
I'll get it up here.
The excitement is building.
Oh my God.
So, this last weekend, I was so tired. So Thursday night, Corey and Cody did a duo show in Maine.
Oh,
Lyman, Maine. So that's a 3.5-hour ride there and a 3.5-hour ride back. Luckily, it was only a 2-hour show. And it was, okay, there you go.
There's Chuck Mangione.
Why does Ozzy look like Stevie Nicks?
Well, they were probably sharing blow at the time. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. The hairstyle's exactly the same. So's the outfit.
That is epic, Corey. It's epic.
His cheekbones even kind of look like hers.
Right? I mean, that's Stevie Nicks.
I'll tell you this much, though. I would have rather dated fucking Ozzy Osbourne than fucking her. Bitch.
All right. All right. Are you going to get that picture off? Or you'll leave it there forever? But yeah, so we were in Lyman, Maine. What a drive. But it was a really good day. But 7 hours of driving for me. The next day, Friday, Corey had a private show, full band, and nicest people, lovely place. It was, what was it, Armenia, New York?
Armenia, New York, yes.
Which, for those of you who don't know, it's right on the border of Connecticut. You're in Litchfield, you're in Sharon, Litchfield County, and if you jump on the other side, you're in Armenia, New York. Gorgeous area, beautiful, magnificent. Wonderful people, great place, but it was an outdoor show. And for those of you who have ever had to set up an outside show, and even when you put the canopy up to, kind of protect things, it starts raining. We kind of pull everything back. Looks like we're going to be able to go again.
Downpour.
Now it's not just raining. Now it's a torrential pour and giant wind. So we're trying to set it up now into another area, not inside, but they have like another, it's a very large house. So we go to another covered area, but it doesn't matter because the wind is just blowing the crap out of it. The drums went flying. I mean, really, that's how strong the wind was.
It knocked down the drums.
And I luckily I brought 3 changes of clothing because I am soaked the first one.
And also, after the last 2 weeks, I knew to bring entire changes of clothing.
Yeah, so but these guys were determined. They wanted to hear the band play. They had researched it. They loved the Dilemma. They wanted the Dilemma.
And unfortunately, so did the rest of my bandmates.
Yeah, no, God bless. Everybody wanted to play.
Did they want to play, or did they just not want to have the letter L removed from it?
They wanted to play. And so what ended up happening, that these people fed us beautifully. And in fact, we took home some of their leftover that we had today. They had some kosher chicken. And that I barbecued tonight. But in any case, we set up again, 4th time. We move things around so that things are okay. Would you believe the electricity goes out? Now the electricity's out. So then they have a generator. They have a generator.
But and again, it's a generator set up for home use, i.e., make sure the fridge stays cold, make sure the water's still running, not make sure the rock and roll band can play.
Oh. Right, and we have some very high end
stuff.
Corey? What the hell's
power conditioners?
Power conditioners. So the power conditioners won't let you run if the energy isn't clean. It goes red instead of green on the lights. But anyway, again, they really want. I was like, okay, you know what? I did bring a battery operated speaker system as well. I said, why don't we do this? How about Corey play some solo? Went inside the house, did a great job. We got that going on. And then eventually Michael and Ryan and Jack figured out a way to get the electric to work. And maybe the electric just came on. And we did do an 1.5-hour band show. But the dedication that the Dilemma showed on this one was pretty strong. And the people were super nice. And they hung with us the whole time. And that was terrific. And then, I'm tired. That show took, because we ended up staying an extra hour or so because we wanted to give these people a show.
And that was part of it that just got to me. I was excited. It was an early afternoon show. It was a 2-hour early afternoon show. We never get those. We never get that on a Saturday. I'm going to be home.
Friday.
Especially on a Friday. So wait, I'm going to get a chance to actually go home, maybe take a nap after the show and go out on a Friday night? Oh, no, not my luck.
So
not me.
But then we had a show the next night. Now, also remember, the week before, I don't get in from Alaska until Sunday morning, and then we had the show in Darien that we got rained out. I'm operating on, I'm too old for this shit. Saturday that we had a great show. It was at Bishop.
Hell, I'm too old for this shit.
It was, and we had a lovely show, and thank God Lisa was there, because I got to be honest, Lisa is the best roadie, because she folds everything. She keeps everybody. She keeps me from yelling and screaming at people. She's, God bless Lisa. But I got to tell you, yesterday, Sunday, I slept well. It was the first time I got to sleep in like 3 weeks, because Corey and I have been in South Beach, been Alaska, Seattle, Maine, New Jersey, New York. Do
you know how tired I was on Saturday morning?
How tired?
I didn't go to temple.
This is true. You did not.
I didn't. My rule is if I go to bed in my own bed, no matter how late I get home on a Friday night, I go to temple in the morning. I was that tired. I pretty much got home at 8 p.m. I was in bed by like 8 p.m., asleep by 9. I slept until pretty much halfway through the services the next day. That's like 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, no, we were tired. This week was very
I've spiritually gotten myself back and centered.
But today, and that was the other thing. So, we're putting this thing together for our the business. We're building this new showroom.
We needed extra office space. We don't have enough storage or office space, so we made it happen.
Care of that. But at the same time, we're also redoing a lot of the outdoors. So we have contractors in and out, outside, inside. Plus, when I was away for a few weeks, because I am the pool boy also, some of the chemicals just didn't go right, so we had a swamp. So last week,
and let it be known, I valiantly fought this pool.
But the pool beat it. The pool
did not, that algae did not want to die. That algae was saying, nah, keep it green,
Yeah, no. So every day we were hosing down the filters. We put in more shock and more chemicals and more algicide and the stronger algicide. And then we put in the clarifiers. Oh my God. But today the pool was beautiful. I want you all to know it's crystal clear blue. It's gorgeous again. But last week, besides everything else and all the gigs, we have all these contractors here. It's insane what was going on. Today, everything kind of worked though. World was good. Every paycheck that was supposed to come in, all of Corey's monies that people had owed him paid today. It was great. Everything was wonderful today. All the numbers hit. So I got to sort of relax. It wasn't a bad day. So anyway,
I will say that there's one person that we did not mention. And he passed away yesterday. And at a you can't. No one at the age of 97 ever gets I don't think you got cheated if you made it to 97. But the satirist and songwriter Tom Lehrer died. Tom Lehrer during the Cold War wrote some of the funniest satire songs that ever came out of the United States. This guy was one of the smartest comedians who ever lived. He was a math professor, and
one cares.
No, you're the one who doesn't care.
All right, wait. Let me take James. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, I haven't.
Dave, have you ever heard of this guy?
About 5 minutes ago.
Andrew.
I know the name. I don't know much about him.
All right. Thank you. All right. May he rest in peace.
He was a Jew. May his memory be a blessing.
All right. Whatever. I don't. Anyway, it is. What time is it now? We're at the 9 o'clock hour, correct?
You're in Alaska.
This show for the last 4 years has gone until 9:30.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Craig wants to
this approaching 60 thing is approaching quickly.
Yeah, Craig, this is the first time you've been asking this. I'm getting concerned.
You know, whatever.
Listen, Ozzy still had his brain at the end.
You know, he didn't have to do what I had to do last week.
No, excuse me. I have been rewatching the Osbournes, and by the way, let's talk about the Osbournes for a minute. Let's talk about the Osbournes.
Okay.
Okay.
What all four of those people had to dealing with the other three members of their family. My God, Sharon is dealing with cancer. Ozzy is dealing with doctors who really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Kelly is just if you can snort it, smoke it, drink it, she's gonna have it. And Jack really doesn't want to be there, so he medicated his way through it. 4 people in a giant house who loved the living hell out of each other, but were thrown into such a situation, circumstance, and condition that, like, they all turned like sour. And like, where, you know, Sharon definitely was, you know, obviously the leader of the pack and the strong one, she was still insane. But no, and it's crazy because there were times where I feel like Ozzy was actually the voice of reason in that house.
Well, I'm sure he was the cool dad. I mean, Sharon was
actually, it was I would say that Sharon was a lot more cool with, like, you know, Kelly coming home at 4 a.m, you know, drinking. Ozzy was always the one that's like, why did you come home so late? Were you were you out drinking? Were you out like doing it? Like, Ozzy was like actually being more like, you know, Ozzy Nelson than he was being Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, Ozzy Nelson went down in a cocaine plane, so I don't know.
No, that was Ricky that went down in the cocaine.
Oh, Ricky
plane.
Nelson, right?
Yes, after the garden party.
So,
but yeah, no, but like, it was so funny watching this, that like Ozzy, who again is being medicated on the wrong things by his doctors at this point. Like, he's going through, you know, alcohol detox on the show, and kind of while being very open about it, very public about it, which itself is a brave journey to do. Like, say, here, I'm going to face dealing with my demons, and I'm going to have an entire MTV film crew do that.
Well, I think also, you know, we talked about
that's ex-chutzpah.
The Parkinson's, many people go to the wrong doctor.
Well, yeah, it manifests.
I remember this with my parents initially. My dad was like, "Oh, we're going to a neurologist. Half his patients are Parkinson's patients," and I'm like, "So he's killing half of his patients." That's all I have to say. I talked to a friend that I went to school with, who worked at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, and I'm not going to mention names on this one, but he had told me that, listen, if you have Parkinson's, do not just see a neurologist, because you need a specialist, because it is such a diverse disease that, as they said, that they cannot actually diagnose. It's Parkinson's-like syndrome. So there was a doctor, and I think he's retired now, Dr. Fawn, at Columbia Presbyterian.
I thought we weren't mentioning names, but okay.
Well, no, I'll mention him. I'm not mentioning my friend's name who told me the stuff, because he's still working there.
Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Fawn was the premier Parkinson's guy in the world. And my friend taught me a lesson with this. He said, hey, listen, you're not going to get an appointment, just so you know. They're going to give you an appointment 9 months to a year out. But take the appointment and get your name registered on the list. And so we did that. And God bless my sister, because you don't ever want to fight with my sister, and you never want to go against my sister, because my sister ain't quick.
Y'all think Craig Reeman's tough? I want you to deal with Allison Zopel.
My sister's pretty tough. So we did what my friend told me to do. and we got her all registered. And my sister called probably 2 to 3 times a day to wait for a cancellation because he said, Craig, there will be a cancellation and it'll be quick. So they gave us an appointment 9 months away. My mom was seeing the doctor in 3 days because he said, take whenever you could do it. And she got to see him. And the first thing that the Dr. Fawn did, and again, he's the premier specialist in Parkinson's in the world. He took her off half the meds she was on. Lowered the L-Dopa, reworked her entire stuff. And she went from severe dyskinesia to speaking normally. And she probably got an extra 2 to 3 years of really nice life because she saw the right doctor.
I would have never have been able to know who my grandmother was if it wasn't for this man.
No, absolutely.
No, like, I actually, you know, as briefly as I got to see my grandmother's actual personality, it was because of that man. I actually, in my my formative years, actually got to see probably the last time my grandmother was really herself. And what a blessing that was.
But that's the point to like the Ozzy situation. And, you know, for anybody, like, you know, life lesson here, because this is where you want to come. this show. But Dilem-Monday. No, but in all honesty, there is a reason you go see a specialist. You know,
very good advice.
Yeah, no, see a specialist because, and if things aren't getting better on the normal guy, ask for the specialist. That's the way to do it. And don't accept the answer, I can't see you immediately. Give someone a hard time. Hey, today, you saw me get my package delivered?
Absolutely.
FedEx came to the door and he rang the bell and knocked on the door, but he didn't leave the package. And there were people in the backyard. He could have given the package there. And I called FedEx and she said, well, sorry, you can't have your package till tomorrow. I was like, no, actually, I can have it today. I have it on the ring. I can show you exactly what happened. You're going to get me that package today. And we called FedEx and I got the management. And the guy came back and brought me my goddamn package. You know, when you're right, don't accept no for an answer.
I knew that was coming. I knew the quote was coming.
No, but you know what? When you're right and you're on the right side of something, and you know that you why give up? Why just say it's worth it? Screw that. And when it comes to someone's health, with these doctors, nah, you know. Right? Why is this back going?
What's going on?
I'm hearing double voice.
So I will tell you, you're not going through a psychiatric episode. It's okay. This is technology. But every once in a blue moon, I'll get a little echo of myself.
Okay.
And it's a scary time for me. It's a scary time. I realize the hell that you all go through.
Well, I have to deal with the pre-shit.
Your house was possessed. I thought maybe you had a ghost in the house or something like that, you know?
Well, I
you never know.
From my daughter's old room. This is the guest room. Because they won't let me do it in my office anymore because the Wi-Fi sucks. So hopefully with the new office, we'll have that taken care of, and we'll have Infinity come and do a good job. Xfinity, whatever the hell they are. Get that going. But technology is tough. But really, when you do have issues and you know you're right, and especially in the medical thing, do not accept those answers that they're not going to see you. It's just unacceptable. And I really believe that, Ozzy was completely misdiagnosed for so long, and they were giving him the wrong meds for the wrong thing.
They were. They thought he had MS. Yeah, very, very, very different neurological conditions.
Yeah, no. So like my friend told me, half his patients are dying because this guy, because he gives them the wrong damn thing. I mean, think about some of our lost stars that we had. Michael Jackson, Prince, think about these losing doctors that we're dealing with. You know,
I think it was the same for what's his face, the guy from Friends. Help me out here.
Yeah.
Larry.
That's
yeah. Yeah, great actor. I think also he had an asshole doctor that was giving him all these crazy prescriptions and shit like that.
Who tells an addict to use ketamine? I'm sorry. Ketamine is the drug that people go to Wormtown with to go listen to a bad Grateful Dead cover band and tend to their goats, which is actually an abandoned dog.
Have you ever been
colorful? Very colorful.
Freaking special. No, listen, special K-heads who also probably are going around searching for balloons. 3 for $20, no deals. 3 for $20, no deals. Like, I gefault. Ketamine? You gave a drug addict ketamine?
We will agree that was not a good idea, and probably you shouldn't sit in the pool while taking it.
I gefault.
I mean, isn't that how she went down too?
She absolutely. And her daughter.
Yeah, that's just
horrible. Yeah, I think Matthew Perry. One thing I wanted to say with him was, I don't know if you guys are aware, he started a clinic for people with substance abuse that didn't have money, and he was helping people that, I guess, between the lapse of insurance or couldn't afford it. They say about 30 different people that he actually paid or through this facility for their drug recovery while he was going through his recovery. That's a good man, I gotta say.
Well, hey, think about Ozzy at that last show. This again, you're always an addict. You're never not an addict. You're always in recovery, and recovery is not just one action, it's a process. And for Ozzy, and again, he was being at the end given, proper pain medication that was being given by doctors, prescribed the right way. But you know what? For an addict to be able at all to say, I'm gonna stay lucid, I don't want the drugs today, especially on a day that was as high stressed as a 9-hour festival, and constantly seeing holding audiences with like everyone who was performing, everyone that was backstage, really being treated like the Prince of Darkness. And by the way, can we start calling him the King? Even Charles became the King of the King
We're going to dethrone Elvis and give it to Ozzy?
Well, he's ascending now, so we can call him the Prince of Light.
Touche. No, and you know what? And again, there's a great argument still for Elvis. He did die on the throne. So
he did do that.
Which is the reason why you're not allowed to tour the top floor of Graceland.
Is that really?
Only I think since Graceland started doing tours, I would be remiss to think that there have been any more than 25 people who have been allowed upstairs. And they've been doing tours of the place for almost 40 years.
Why the entire floor? Just because that's the floor he passed on?
That was the personal.
Versus the room.
That was the family's
King.
I know what? I'll throw out Albert too, and Freddie.
By the way, I fixed my time.
And hell, know what? If we're throwing in the metal guys, I'll put Carrie in there too.
Oh, nice.
BB, Albert, Freddie, and Carrie.
By the way,
the ghost of Graceland.
Yeah.
But
that was to answer the question. That was the family quarters. That was always those were the personal bedrooms.
I wanted to bring up a thing from this week too that Corey started doing after his Harry Chapin experience last week. Corey, the whole group that put this together, it wasn't the regular Dilemma band. It was I think, as we said, Brother Dave and Dom, who play in the Dilemma band regularly, were there, and Cody.
And Cody, who's like my consigliere.
Yeah, he was there, but Isabel and Danny Ryler also played. Tremendous. But one of the things Corey started doing after he learned all this about Harry and really got in deep about the songs and stuff was the food bank stuff.
These are our neighbors, people. These are the people, food insecurity is so many people are too proud to talk about insecurity as far as food and nourishment goes. And it's why it will always be such a difficult challenge to have to deal with and have to face. But you know what? Getting to do that show and getting to immerse myself and getting to talk with the guys from the foundation. Listen, I would be not doing my job of having a platform. And this isn't politics. I don't care. You want to use your platform for politics, that's your own personal decision. But you got to use your platform to do the right thing for people. When it's time to do the right thing, food does not have a political party. A box of macaroni is not a Republican or a Democrat. A can of tuna is not, a libertarian or a communist.
Harry Chapin, was a great man. And look, how many years has it been now? He passed away in 81?
81.
44.
July 16th, 1981.
And he's still remembered, and his music's great. And I got to admit, and I
is this I'm a bad Long Islander moment?
No. It's just I knew 2 or 3 songs, but then Corey showed me that whole album and the 15 or 16 songs that those guys put together. Some of those songs, the other night, Cody and Corey did the duo show up in Lyman, Maine at this park. Great show, really good turnout for Thursday night too. And Corey did
Circle
at the end of the night. And the entire crowd was singing Circle with them. And it was, what a powerful, the woman from across the street, she had a house next to the park. She gave all of us a hug because of the song.
She was apparently a gigantic Harry Chapin fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
There were 30,000 pounds.
And
bananas.
You start listening to some of these songs, they were really neat. But this man, this humanitarian, what an interesting guy. And then what was it, last night? There was another Harry Chapin concert that was
absolutely just wild about Harry.
And they had a bunch of singer-songwriters who are normally original singer-songwriters. Probably, Andrew, you probably knew 15 of the 20 or 30 people there. You probably have had them on shows over the years, I can guarantee.
How wonderful is that, 40 years on, that all those people want to go on stage to sing one song, to take the time.
They pulled out some of the most obscure Harry Chapin shit.
And that's what's great about those shows. That's what I love about them. When you get to hear something you never got to hear prior,
I hope they raised some money last night doing the show, because I did watch the live stream, because the same people that live streamed the Corey show also live streamed this other show, I was like, wow. I'm a pretty good Long Islander, at least I think. I know a little bit about music. I follow music, but whoa, some of those songs, those were deep, deep tracks. I mean, wow. But everybody there was all in it to raise money. And like Corey said, I wish people would keep politics out of it. It should just be about helping people. And, Harry Chapin wanted to help people. And, I think that's something that we're going to try to work on as
absolutely
as a group. Hey, look, we got a certain professional into the Hall of Fame after every single week. So maybe we could feed the hungry here in the United States.
I have a goal, and I'm going to set it here on Dilem-Monday. In the next 2 years, I want to donate 30,000 cans.
Can we help you with that?
I want to do it. 30,000 cans for Harry Chapin.
Okay.
You're going to do it like individually? Can we assist you with this goal?
Let's do it. No, let's do it. You know what?
Group.
I'm putting this out here. It might take me a little bit to make this happen, but I'm going to put into my performance contract, anywhere where we have a public show, there is going to be a box to donate food to. And whether I have to stay an extra night for me to donate to a freaking food pantry the next morning, or
that means I have to stay the extra night, and at 3:00 in the morning, I'm not doing that. I'm going to help you, but I'm not doing that.
Your own rules. If it's 3:00 in the morning, we're at a hotel anyway.
Well, that's true. Yes, I do have that. If we go to, if it looks like we're going past 2:01, we are we are getting it. Alexander's Ground Market. Yes, yeah,
30,000 cans for Harry.
By the way, so we are getting closer. We have a lot to talk about for this weekend shows. So there is 10 minutes left. So I want to talk to everybody else first, because we have a member of our band who is having a birthday party this weekend. So I'll bring that up in a minute. But Dave, what do you got to promote?
I'll be in Grove 34 in Astoria this Wednesday, July 30th, and also again on Tuesday, August 12th. And then we'll be in Hard Hat Cafe in North Haven on Friday, August 8th.
Nice.
And that's my website. Thank you, Corey.
Come in every day, people. Literally the same exact topic that we talked about today. Talked about Ozzy, talked about the Hulkster, talked about Malcom Jamal Walker, and I talked about deaths that hit me the hardest with celebrities.
I got to tell you, this week was pretty tough.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
Andrew, what shows do you got going on? Who are you working with? What's happening?
I have something at the Beach Gallery in Kenansburg, New Jersey, the Jersey Shore, with Mr. Joe Cap and Frank the Ball Guy. It's a free show. If anybody's around the Jersey Shore on Friday, August 8th, we're incredibly psyched because we haven't done much in Jersey in the last decade. It's a very tough, cliquish place. That's another story for another time. But this was a long time coming, so we're very happy about that. And got a bunch of stuff actually coming up in September. Another show with Randy Jackson over in Connecticut. We have
tell you what you want.
That's it. Over at the Cellar, and go check out outstanding.com or powermusicproductions.com or facebook.com/ either one of those will let you know where we're at, what's going on, and something like that. The summer's been kind of slow, but in a way, it's been great because spend time with the family. It's a wonderful thing, and did some road trips and had a good time, and it's been all good.
Absolutely. Do I get to do my segment? And James is going to. James has one for this week as well, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I think everyone's going to probably guess where in our minds our dedications are going to go. Our album of the week. I went in the direction of Black Sabbath. Shocker, right? And I chose one of the cooler albums in their discography. We're talking Tony Iommi in his absolute most musical creative best. Geezer Butler writing some of the most phenomenal lyrics he ever had. Bill Ward is hitting both harder and more dynamically than the entire discography. And Ozzy is just we get to see Ozzy the Soul Singer. What album am I talking about? Black Sabbath Volume 4, with one of the greatest dedications of all time. We wish to thank the great Coke, a cola company of Los Angeles. And that's how you get a track like Snowblind. James, add on to this.
You know, it's
I
funny
can
how
say
you, you know, it's
my favorite song in the world.
Changes, yes. Rock and roll's greatest ballad.
That song, and that is an Ozzy song, and you could tell it's an Ozzy song. And it shows the diversity of Sabbath when you hear a song like Changes, and then you hear another song like War Pigs in the group. I mean, that this band could do both those kind of things. One of my favorite bands of all time. So,
Love you, Ozzy.
Go ahead, James, on your album.
It's funny how you keep talking about Black Sabbath because I also have a Black Sabbath album, Sabotage. Phenomenal album, by the way.
The Sabbath getting to experiment into corners they never got to do otherwise. Sabotage, they finally said, we're going to do it we're going to start to move in our own direction. We're going to start to be ourselves. We're going to deliver a Black Sabbath album unlike any Black Sabbath album you had seen prior. What a record.
No, Sabbath had some great stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, real quick before we do the Corey plugs. Real quick.
A lot this week.
I want to hear everyone's favorite Ozzy song and everyone's favorite Sabbath song. Dad, you start.
Well, I just told you Changes and then Iron Man.
James.
I will also go with Changes, and for Black Sabbath, it's got to be War Pigs for me.
Hell yeah. Andrew.
It constantly changes. Right now, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is my favorite record. And the last track on that record called Spiral Architect. In fact, I listened to it the other day and I started just tearing up because with the passing of Ozzy, it's a beautiful song and a beautiful record.
Dave.
I'll go with Iron Man and Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Great song too. Mama Coming Home.
Andrew, I'm hitting the opposite end, and I'm going with the title track of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath for my favorite. And I think Barking at the Moon, we're getting to see Randy Rhoads absolutely like we are hearing where metal was going. That record. Oh my God.
We were doing one Sabbath and one Ozzy. Ozzy. I would go with Diary of a Madman, which is the second album with Randy, and You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, which to me is an amazing anthem. And it was about the PMRC and everyone at that time that was trying to kill metal, so to speak, and whatnot. And that says a lot about Ozzy. You can't kill rock and roll. And he first says it's here to stay. Then he says, I'm here to stay. And he was here to stay. You're talking what an amazing career. It's incredible.
And he ain't ever leaving. God
Amen
bless
to
you,
that.
Ozzy. Dad,
All right.
give a quick dilemma plug.
So I'm gonna give some dilemma and Corey.
Do your best Sharon Osbourne here.
Yes. Well, first though, I want to also share a little bit more about Andrew's stuff. So, for those of you who have not had the honor and privilege to go to one of Andrew's shows, Andrew's one of the few promoters that are still out there that does promote original music. He gives opportunities to musicians who want to who have put their all into playing original music. And there's not a lot of venues that are open to it. And Andrew has devoted his career and his life to music, and original music at that. And he goes around and he finds these great venues and really great opportunities for bands to put together an original set. He always brings in a high-end sound crew and a sound system, and he allows people that opportunity and chance. So look up some of the stuff that Andrew does, and really reach out and look at his programs that he puts together, because he has a lot of great musicians that, for one reason or another, just didn't get the shot and didn't make it. The one thing that lightning never struck, but Andrew is constantly working with them and giving them that opportunity. So I want people to really take a look at that. As far as Corey's stuff goes, we've got a really busy week. I complained I needed rest, but Thursday, Corey is playing solo at Waypoint Spirits. I know Steph will have that out there, all the information. So Corey's playing solo from 6 to 9 at Waypoint Spirits. Then on Friday, Davey Schultz. It's his birthday. And we are going to be in downtown Providence, Rhode Island from Moonshine Alley. Now, for those of you who have never been to Moonshine Alley, it is a crazy bar. The place is jamming. And Mr. Schultz will be celebrating his birthday, his 21st birthday for the 14th or 15th time. So we will be there again. For Mr. You know, the band will be staying at a hotel later that night also, because the next day we have a bike and beer gig. We are playing at Smutty Nose Brewing in Hampton, New Hampshire from 11 to 2 p.m. Good luck on that one, getting up for this entire band that day. That's going to be great.
Also, I think I cursed this show.
What?
Just in from our sports correspondent's office.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
I didn't mean to do this.
That's terrible. He was a great player, Rhino.
Is there any news yet?
Well, he's been on and off with cancer. It was at one point he was in remission, and then it came back, and I think it literally just took him tonight.
For those who do not know who Ryan Sandberg was, he was one of the best second basemen ever. Arguably, some will say the greatest second baseman to ever play. He hit 40 home runs one season. He was a Gold Glove second baseman. He had the unfortunateness of playing for the Cubs, which, you know, Ernie Banks had that same horrible thing. But Ryan Sandberg, what a great player. But let me just do the last of your plugs, Corey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That literally just came through the wire, so I figured we should get that on there.
So yeah, we're doing bikes and beers in Hampton, New Hampshire. We are not taking a second show, no matter how many people ask me that day, because I am not. I need rest that day. I've had an inquiry, at least 15 in the last 2 weeks, for us to take a second show coming home that weekend night. I'm not doing that. But on Sunday, all the way back up to Boston, Corey has a private show at the Tedesco Country Club. So once again, we will put in tremendous amounts of driving and whatnot. But next week, I know we'll talk about on Monday, Corey's going to be playing at Lansdowne Pub, Mohegan Sun, next Friday. So that should be a lot of fun. Thank you, Phil Smith.
Awesome.
The great Phil Smith hooked us up with that gig. Great story about that. We were both playing at the yacht club, Westerly Yacht Club. He was doing the bar. We were doing the big ballroom with the full band. He came over to hear the boys play. We had a great conversation. We appreciated each other, and
A mutual love of Jimmy Buffett.
And a mutual love of Jimmy Buffett. And Phil books that particular area, and he gave Corey some shows, which was very nice of him. So much appreciated. Go on the Phil Smith. He has shows everywhere. The man's one of the busiest solo. He might have as many shows as Brother Dave and Karen. He might be there with those guys. And that's pretty hard to do, by the way. Extremely hard. All right. We've done it. We've got through the plugs.
We got through it. And just, I guess, one last little thing. If you've been following through with the news going on right now, I'm not going to say anything on it. Love each other. Respect each other. Do the right thing when it comes down to it. Make sure that, you and tell the people that you love that you do love them. This world is, this world is a very, very beautiful gift, and we should not take advantage of it. And with that in mind, donate to a food bank and enjoy every sandwich. We will see you next week on Dilem-Monday with better news. Hell yes, we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Okay.